Colonel Macgregor, you're a great man. Thank you very much for your time, for your analysis.
Judge, can I add one point here?
Of course.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something that doesn't seem to get a great deal of attention. It was reported recently, and it's in the open press, that the Iranians have begun enriching uranium to weapons-grade plutonium. For your audience, this means that it's enriched to 20% or more, and the plutonium then is capable of being utilized in making bombs for warheads on missiles or dropping from airplanes or whatever. This is not an accident. The Iranians have restrained themselves in the past. They've kept well below those levels. They're now actively making that plutonium. I have very, very little doubt in my mind that they can transform that plutonium into nuclear weapons. At the same time, the Turks know, and have known this for a long time, that if they were ever in the position where they felt they were going to be directly threatened by another nation with a nuclear weapon, and in the Middle East, everybody assumes that's Israel, that Pakistan would provide nuclear warheads that could be utilized by the Turks. These developments are huge and get no attention. People need to understand what this means. It means that if this war spreads, as I think it will, I think we're on the slippery slide into a major regional war. The Houthis, Hezbollah, the militias are symptomatic of where I think we're headed. I think that Washington wants desperately war with Iran. And I think there are enough people who are careless and don't really understand the region, don't understand the facts, are beating the drums for it. And all of these things point to a disaster that we really don't want to confront. But no one in the White House is addressing this. No one is standing up in front of the American people and saying, look, this is very serious. This is beyond the usual Arab-Israeli conflict. This is not something that lasts for a few weeks and then ends and results in some sort of treaty or a new agreement or a change in the border. This has become a war for the existence of Israel on the one hand, and a war for the existence of the Arabs and Muslims in the region on the other. This is not exclusively Mr. Netanyahu's problem. Mr. Netanyahu said this is existential. Either we win or we're finished. Well, that dangerous attitude has been adopted by the people that surround him. And I don't think we can bribe them to stop. I don't think we can bully them into stopping. And I think if we become involved, we put a lot of things at risk, ourselves, our installations. Remember, you have a total, I think, of roughly 57,000 American servicemen in the region. You have between Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, probably almost 30,000. The other 20,000 are distributed in those other areas in Jordan and elsewhere. They will be at serious risk. And we cannot protect everyone everywhere all of the time, particularly when we're trying to protect Israel. So there has to be some more thorough analysis and thinking about the implications of our actions and the actions of our Israeli friends. And I'm just not seeing it. What I see is more emotion and very little rational calculus.
Because you see a president on the cusp of a re-election, which he thinks will not succeed unless he can be a wartime president. If I could be so bold as to attempt to finish your thought.
Well, you and I know that did not turn out to be the case for Lyndon Johnson.
Right.
I don't think it was the case for Harry Truman. FDR died while he was in office. Had he lived longer and the outcome of the war being fully explained to the American people, I think he'd been in a lot of trouble. That's water under the bridge. I think the opposite is true. I think the left and Joe Biden know that Joe Biden is not going to run again. And if he does, he's not going to win. So I think they are similar in some respects to Mr. Netanyahu. They want to leverage their control and dominance politically, militarily, economically over us and the rest of the world to reshape the region to their satisfaction. They failed miserably in Ukraine. They're going to make noises. We're sending small numbers of troops to northern Finland and northern Sweden. We're stoking the fires of fear in Scandinavia and Germany by telling everyone war with Russia is coming, which is only if we attack Russia. And no one there wants to do that. It's all nonsense. But I see the same sort of mentality driving us down this sort of one-way street to disaster, into a fight that we can avoid and don't need to fight. And I don't think Israel needs to demand that all of its unwelcome opponents in the region have to be destroyed in order to create this new greater Israel. I think the opposite is the probability, and that is it doesn't work, and Israel's at very severe risk of being destroyed.